Well, it's a beautiful day here in sunny Monterey, California, and today is another Tech Talk with D&D. I'm D,
And I'm D.
and today we're going to be talking about desktop gaming versus console gaming. Trivial, I know.
It's pretty it's heavily debated.
Heavily debated. I'm a master debater. I don't know about you, but
Well, I took debating class as one of my
okay.
electives in school, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah,
So I'm here on behalf of console gaming,
I'm here on behalf of PC gaming.
and here are some of the reasons I think console gaming is good. I like the simplicity of being able to walk into any store, Best Buy, Walmart, wherever I go, buy a gaming console, walk in, buy any game I want. Games that are exclusive that the PC doesn't have available. We'll look at GTA 5, for example, and be able to walk out and play it and know I'm not going to have any problems.
Or minimal problems at that. I think I like that part of the console gaming aspect, but also you've got to take into account that with PC gaming, you don't even have to leave the house to get your game. You just download it right there, and if you don't have super slow internet, your game should be ready for use within half an hour to an hour.
Now we have to take into consideration with all of our newer consoles going back as far as even say the Xbox 360 or the PS3. That's already there. I mean, like, you can go on a Wii and download all your games. You don't need a physical disc. So you still have the simplicity like a PC gamer would have, but you know the specs of your console are going to line up to what the game's designers intended for it to be played on.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think the whole console gaming is kind of a thing for people that don't really want to mess with it. They don't want to have to deal with the finesse that goes along with PC gaming, as far as you might download a game and find out that your runtime.dll is missing and there's no way to repair that, and you gotta Google for hours, and that's not fun either. And I suppose when you buy a console, you're trying to kind of eliminate the headache that goes along with a PC.
Now, D, I've noticed that you agreed with a couple of my statements,
Yeah.
but I want you to just kind of go over some of the pros of PC gaming that maybe console gaming doesn't have.
I would say that the pros to PC gaming would be the ability to host a peer-to-peer server that you are able to regulate without the stepping in of the actual company or the maker of the game. Like, most of console games have their own servers that you connect to. It's not a user created thing. You get to, on the PC end of it, you can create more of your own customized servers for people to join, and you don't have to play with people that you don't like on your own server. You can just vamonos, you're out of here, you know.
For sure. Now, that's one great thing that PC gaming has going for it, and that's the ability to host your own servers and host them however you want. Whether that means going online and downloading some plugins, or going as far as coding your own specific plugins for your application. Now, you look at that seems like a lot of tedious work and finesse for such a small aspect of the entire gaming experience. I mean, we're getting pretty specific here. Let's take it back to a broader standpoint. How about the physical gaming? Let's talk about the graphics engine, the the load time, the physical ability of your hardware. How do you think all that stands compared to a console?
Well, I would say that as far as comparing graphics processors in general, I could say that I would prefer the PC because not only can you customize it to fit your needs, but also you can customize it to fit your budget. And you don't always go into a store knowing exactly what you want, and instead of saying, well, this is the price you're paying, you can kind of change the price a little bit depending on what games you want to be playing, instead of a general price for every game that's available. And I like the aspect that you can have a PC that is much more powerful than a console in computing power than for the price that you're paying for the console. I mean, when consoles come out, they're around $800.
Well, I correct you. When the Xbox One came out on launch date, it was $500.
Oh, when the Xbox 360 came out, it was $800, wasn't it?
That was a PS3.
Well, there you go. Anyways, PS3 was darn expensive, right?
It was. The PS3 was
Okay, so overpriced be it, you could still go out for $500 and buy a PC that today would be equivalent, if not slightly better, than the PS3 as far as computing power goes.
Now, when the game developers sit there and work their butts off making a game, and I'm not just saying a small game, I'm saying a big game, like a launch day game. Like, we'll take GTA 5 or any of the new Fable series, or, you know, you get one of these big name games that's available on the console. Do you think they specifically make the game for the console and then they modify it to be capable of running on the PC? Vice versa, or both?
Well, I think it depends on the scenario. I believe that many games are designed to where, not designed, but they just don't release it on the PC because if you don't have an Xbox, they want you to go buy an Xbox, you know. And not everyone has an Xbox. Pretty much everybody has a PC, and if they release it only for the Xbox, then whoever doesn't have an Xbox is going to have to go and buy one if they want to play that game. And I think that a lot of times it's Microsoft that's releasing the game too, so I don't know, I don't really like that.
But I'm perfectly fine paying a premium to have the game available on my console it is designed for. I'd rather pay an extra $20, buy the game on launch date, plug it into my console, slide the disc in, download it, however I go about doing it, and be able to play it right there with no hiccups, not having to go through, set up and install the game, go and have to set all my graphics properties to the right configuration, my screen resolution. I love the simplicity of just sliding the disc in and pressing A on my controller, X or whatever it may be, and then playing. I don't like having to go wait in line at Walmart, go buy a disc, or go find it on Steam or whatever, download it, install it, like you said, you know, DLL or something's going to be missing, and then I accidentally downloaded the 32-bit when my computer's a 64-bit, or vice versa, and then I don't have enough RAM to run the games, then I have to go get a different version of the game, or a patch for the game, or just more RAM for my computer, finally get it to run, the graphics are horrible, it's laggy, they have to go through to the graphics configuration, and by the time it's running smoothly, my graphics look like I'm playing an 8-bit video game.
Yes, I believe that is part of the headache that you agree to take on being a PC gamer. I think that's actually part of it, in my opinion. I expect to run into many problems in the gaming aspect of PC, and I like it. I like to repair these kinds of things. I like to go through the headache, and that's kind of why I prefer PC gaming. And I can't remember what you said. You were saying there toward the beginning of what you were saying. What were you saying about consoles?
Well, anyway,
Anyways,
I think that both have they both have their pros and cons, but to me it seems like the biggest pro that you have to PC gaming, other than a headache, which some people may like, is that you're saving money essentially. You don't have to go out and buy a $500 to $800 new console. just to play a game.
And that's
However, I want you to take into consideration the consoles have a lot of pros going for them. For that extra $500, what do you have? You have access to games that the PC won't have for another 6 months to a year. You have all kinds of built-in features into the console. I mean, like on any of the next-gen consoles, you've got Skype, you've got your entire web browser, you've got your media management, you've got DVD player, Blu-ray player. I mean, it does everything you could want. So you're not only paying for a gaming console, but you're paying for an entire media center for your TV.
And I do like the aspect of that the consoles are becoming more and more customizable as far as content that you can have on them. And that is another reason that the console, or the PC gaming, excuse me, is such a wide thing. You know, it's a big thing because you can really customize your game. There's a lot more settings, be it laying out your own controllers or your graphics settings in your game. You can really control how the game functions and suit it to your needs, as well as you can have many of the programs on your computer as well. So if you don't have to get up and go to a console if you want to watch your YouTube or vice versa.
You're saying that the PC gaming compared to the console gaming is a lot more versatile. I can use a Xbox 360 controller to play Minecraft on my computer if I wanted to.
Yes, you can.
But I can't use a Xbox 360 controller to play Minecraft on my PS3.
Well, not only because it's not as versatile, but because do they have Minecraft? They do have it on 360, so you can't take the PS3 controller and play Minecraft on the Xbox.
Now, here's what I'm getting at though. When it comes down to the versatility of a PC, when you contrast that to a console, how about exploiting, modifying, or even hacking the games to give yourself an unfair advantage over other players? And I don't necessarily mean hacking like sitting there at command prompt with all kinds of green blinking cursors on a black background. I mean more like downloading some little zip file or jar that you drop into the installation file and making it work for you. I think that's probably quite a bit easier to control to do or take advantage of on a PC than it would be on a console. However, if you're, say, one of the players in a community playing a multiplayer game on a console versus on a PC, since that's so much easier to do on a PC, I'm going to say it's probably a safer and more fair gameplay when it's done on a console because everyone has the same specs. The only thing that's really going to vary is internet speed, which can cause some lag kills. But you're not going to have some guy who's got a really great graphics card and his gaming experience is totally better, totally different than yours. And then you're going to have a harder time trying to get any add-ons or modifications to your game on a console, whereas on a PC it would probably be moderately easy to do on those games.
Mm-hmm. And that, I'd say, is the advantage of having a company-owned server that you're connecting to on a console gaming site, because you're ruling out that possibility for people to even try to mess with the server itself. It's not really possible to connect to the server that you're on when you're console gaming at all for any other reason than gaming. Really, there's no other way to mess with it if you've got a server on your home network like you would with like any game that you're hosting a server on PC. Many people can access that console or that tower and then essentially bring your server down, or at least make it so horrible that nobody wants to play it. And there's not much you can do about it other than shut the server down and wait a couple hours. And that is one of the hardest things to combat, I would say, with the PC side of things, is just total and utters that like to come on your server and just ruin it for everybody.
And let me just clarify real quick. You're talking about hosting your own server on
about that,
a PC from your house. Is that okay?
From your own home network. And yeah, with the consoles, it pretty much rules out the possibility for anyone to have an unfair advantage like you said, the only reason anyone would have a better advantage is if it has faster internet speed.
Now, if you are hosting your own server from your house on your own machine, that does give you a little bit more control over what the boundaries are of that server. Now, every server has their own specific and unique taste and flavor. Like, some servers allow some things that other servers ban for this, or you might get kicked or muted, where other servers just kind of more of a free-for-all atmosphere. Now, if you are the server host or the owner of the server, you basically decide where your boundaries for that server are going to be. But here's what I'm asking you, essentially, is if someone owns and hosts their own server from their own home network, how much control do they really have over what other PC gamers are doing when they connect to that server? So, like, let's just say, for example, you and I both have a fair amount of experience hosting Minecraft servers. So, if someone connects to your Minecraft server that you're hosting here at your house, and they are X rank, you might have a little bit of control over something like that. But what if they have a UI mod, something that gives them coordinates on the screen all the time, or a mini map, something like that a server side isn't even going to really be able to detect? I know that that's going to be a lot easier to make on a PC than it would be to import something like that into a console, even though both of them would essentially go unnoticed server side. So to me, that seems like it's an unfair advantage for that player.
It depends on the mod itself, but if you did have something that would give you such an unfair advantage, it would be much more difficult to get something of this nature onto a console. That would be one of the downsides of PC gaming, is that there is not much you can do to control what people do on their own machines. All you can really control is what they do. Any files that they're connecting to on your server, you can control. Anything that they have to download from your server, or at least run on your end, you can control. I would like to say that I think the PC gaming kind of people are more of, they're trying to save money, I think, too. I think that's another reason that people like the PC gaming, is because you can wait 6 months. I mean, it's a waiting game, it really is, but if you wait 6 months until they come out with an emulator for a certain console, and you download the game, and mind you, this is completely illegal, and I'm not saying that I do this, but if someone wanted to, they could definitely save a lot of money. Running games in a program, as far as with the consoles, you definitely have to go and either borrow someone's game, or rent it or buy it, which nowadays you can't even rent games, really. I mean, it's coming to pretty much a buy it new or buy it used or download it kind of a thing.
Now, you mentioned running an emulator.
Yes.
I know you probably have a little bit of experience with emulators. Now, from what I've heard, emulators are really buggy.
They're very buggy. They're difficult to set up. They're difficult to find everything you need to get them to run, and they're overall they're not as clean or as simple to use as a console. And that's another thing, is PCs gaming and stuff like this is not. They try to make it simple as they can, but really it never gets as simple as plugging in your console and that's it. You're done. You're playing.
Now, with a PC gaming, not even gaming in particular, but let's say you have your PC hooked up to your TV in your home. You can use it as a home theater streaming thing. You watch Netflix on through, say, an HDMI cable. You just keep it plugged in. You watch Netflix. You watch YouTube. You have a wireless mouse and keyboard at the dining table. Compared to a console, for me, I like the UI of, say, an Xbox One or even a PS4 way better for something like that than I do like a PC. Because with a PC, it's more of a computing machine, whereas the consoles give a really nice GUI that I or whoever's there can pretty much figure out how to use. I mean, I know there are programs out there like XBMC that you can put onto your PC, but I know that you're just going to be going through more hiccups and more trouble because you're going to have to set root directories, you're going to have to locate all your libraries and stuff like that. If you move one file, the whole thing is going to freak out.
Yes, I definitely the whole the GUI is very different and very much more difficult on the PCS end of it. But again, I think that's something that the PC users like, is to be able to manage, like to be in control. It's like driving a stick shift versus driving an automatic vehicle. Some people say automatic vehicles, like say take the Xbox, just refer to that as the automatic vehicle, is a little bit too in control, and it does a little bit too much, whereas the manual automobile, such as the PC, is fully configurable and puts the user in control.
Now, when you compare these to the automatic and the manual, I think that really has a lot to do to depend with your user as well. Is that correct? Like, some users like to be able just to plug it in, turn it on, jump on a server, and be playing with their friends. Whereas other people might want to be, hey, I want to make a server, I want these to be the rules, I want to go through a bunch of trouble to try and make this work, and then, maybe 3 weeks from now I'll actually be able to play on that server.
And you can choose who is on that server too. If you've got somebody that you don't really like to play with on a console, really it's a big long process of reporting them to the whatever company makes the server, and then they have to deal with it from there.
And they usually don't.
And they usually don't, unless it's such a severe offense, such as like trying to actually bring down the company's server. I mean, other than that, they don't care if the guy is not being fair. As far as on your own server, you can use your discretion.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to company-hosted servers, if you report someone, you're not going to really get a whole lot. You're not going to get very far with it. But if the company detects them as having some sort of unfair advantage, maybe a modded console or something like that, then they'll ban them in a heartbeat. But as far as another player on that same company-hosted server when playing on a console, unless they specifically detect them, if they get reports, that doesn't weigh out for very much. It doesn't weigh in very heavily.
Yeah.
I do like that when you host your own server on a PC, you are able to control. If you have some guy who's just derping on your server and he's breaking the rules, and you have validated offenses, then you can ban him. And like you said, that's at your own discretion. Whereas on a console, you're stuck with this guy until he switches servers or goes out to dinner or something and quits wasting his life gaming. Now, here's another question. This is going off topic a little bit, but the maturity of gamers. Do you think the maturity of gamers who game on a PC is higher than those who game on a console? Do you think it matters?
Well, from personal experience, it seems as though there are many more people on the PC side that try to say that they are going to, they're going to try to threaten you and try to be just jerks about things and say that they're going to hack your computer. They're going to say they're going to deny your service, a DDoS attack or something of this nature, and try to scare you into doing what they like.
Because they know that the server is being hosted in your home
because
network.
they know that you have a vulnerability there, and you have information that you would like to keep protected, and they know that if they can, if they think that you think that they can destroy this information, then you're more likely to do pretty much whatever they want. As far as in the console, there's not really any room for people to say, hey, I'm gonna do this or that to your network, because it's console and they can't really do that.
They can't get very far.
They're gonna hit the console. That's it.
Now, would
It's
you
not
say
going
that
very
most
far.
of these threats were made on PC game, like you
Uh-huh.
said, like a dedicated denial of service attack or DDoS attack? Most of these threats that you get, I'm gonna say they're gonna be hollow.
Yeah.
I say you're gonna get rage babies who go on, Mike's Spammers who's like, "Rah!" and they're gonna go in there and threaten to DDoS your network or to crash your server, do all kinds of horrific things to your computer, and 99.99% of the time, absolutely nothing's gonna happen at all.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say that it's very hard to find a server that's worth a darn on the PC side, because you've got so many 5-year-olds going, I'm gonna make a free server, I can download this file from Minecraft, click it, and it runs, and then people can come on. And it's really not that simple, and a lot of servers out there are no good at all. But yes, as you're saying, the threats that these people make are definitely hollow, and I would say are a lot of times they don't even know what you're talking about, and they read these things such as denial of service attacks on places like Wikipedia, and they try to use it as a threat, and it just doesn't work with me because I know a little bit too much about that whole deal to.
You posted your fair share of servers. I'm sure you've seen plenty of these hollow attacks. Now, has anyone ever specifically followed through with one of these attacks and actually attempted to DDoS the server that you're aware of?
Well, I've had servers where people would text spam and just annoy the utter crap out of everyone, but that is not,
That's the nature of it.
That's it. I mean, as far as the denial of service, I mean, my computer has like 32 gigs of RAM, and it's got the i7 overclocked to like 4.2 gigahertz. I mean, this thing is not going to be brought down by one guy and his Intel Centrino Core 2 Duo laptop.
So
It's
your
not gonna
computer is not a Titanic, but it is a boat.
Yes, it's just any computer is not one physical computer. I'm gonna say is not gonna bring down another server. You're gonna need a few good computers to actually ping out another computer to where it loses its internet connection. It might lag your computer or your server up. I've seen them try to, but it didn't work because all it did was lag it up. I've had that. But they've never successfully brought the server down.
Now, you've hosted a few Minecraft servers and
Gary's Mod.
Yeah, Gary's Mod, another TF2 spin-off like that. Now they use the same engine.
Source engine.
Yeah, Source engine. Now, on average, how many servers do you think you've hosted?
I'd say they're pretty long term if I have a server, and usually I try to keep my server very by the people, of the people, and for the people. It's just, I always try to, I even have it set up with my cell phone so people can call me and tell me if there's somebody, or the admins, they can call, or even random players can just send messages to my cell phone and say, hey, this guy's being annoying, hey, this guy stole my wheat, hey, this guy's building his house out of iron blocks and I can't get in to raid him, or, and it's just, but as far as how many servers have I had being such long-term servers, I'd say that I've amassed at least 4 different Minecraft servers over the course of the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
And then probably 2 to 3 Gary's
And
Mod?
I'd say 2 or 3 Gary's Mod servers.
So we're getting close to 10. We're about 7 or 8 servers here. Now, out of all these servers, you say a lot of them are long-term. How long is long-term?
Long-term would be, well, a lot of times I end a server when an update comes out. Because when I sit there and put a month's worth of work, and I mean hours and hours every day into these servers, and an update comes along and renders all of your plugins useless, and it's just a real bummer. But I would say usually I think the longest server I've had is probably around a year.
Okay. Now, I ask you that to get down to one question. Over these 7, 8 servers that you've had that lasted anywhere from a couple months
6
to
months
a year,
to a year.
how many people, how many individual players do you think you have banned?
I think the list is too long to count. I think 60 people would be an understatement. I'd say a few hundred people.
A few hundred? Oh, okay, excellent. Well, guys, this concludes our first session of D&D Tech Talk. I'm D,
And I'm D.
and it was excellent speaking with you today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have any questions? Feel free to ask them in the comments below.
And on our next episode, we will be talking about pinball machines.
Pinball machines it is.
Pinball machines it is.
Yeah, pinball machines.